Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. So great to be along with you today. I'm RFK Jr., making more moves, banning this toxic substance, which you have to ask, how are we still having to ban toxic substances? You would think this would have been done long ago. This one's called Thimerosal. Apparently, they took it out of most childhood vaccines back in 2001. But it still can be found as a preservative in many of the other vaccines, including the flu shot, which so many of you still take out there. So we're going to talk about what it means to ban thimerosal and really the bigger picture of RFK Jr. doing what no other government official had the guts or cojones to do for decades. And that is, of course, take on Big Pharma. And then there's the issue. It continues to get worse and worse by the week. As I study this issue of Frankenmeat, meat glue, literally your steaks glued together. And you can get them at grocery stores, pretty popular grocery chains from what I've seen online of people taking apart their glued together steak. What in the world is happening? Meat glue, by the way, needs to be banned, and it needs to be banned right away because it's absolutely disgusting when you see the video. We're going to talk to Dr. James Thorp. He's a fabulous reference for us on vaccines and health and all things pushing back against the bureaucratic Big Pharma and government that we face that is really engaging in tyranny over all of us. So we're going to do that today on the program. But first, I want to remind you, twc.health/grant. We talk about meat. They have wellness farms now. You want to get grass-fed, unvaccinated beef that is the top of all top, go to Wellness Farms. You can get there by going to twc.health/grant. There's the Parasite Cleanse on there, which has been very popular with Stinchfield's Army viewers. Sold out 3 times, by the way. Back in stock. twc.health/grant. 60 million Americans living with parasites. And then, of course, the all-important emergency medical kits, prescription medications inside here that you and your family need. twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT for 10% off. With that, let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody. Joining me now is a good friend of mine. You know him as a very powerful voice when it comes to pushing back against all of the things we talk about. Dr. James Thorp with the Wellness Company is with us. Dr. Thorp, it's great to see you.
It's such an honor to be back with you, Grant. Thank you for your illustrious platform.
Well, you're very kind to say that. And as I said before we came on, thank you for speaking up against, great pushback from Big Pharma, from government agencies, social media companies, all of that, which leads us to other people that are pushing back. Guys like RFK Jr., the leader of Health and Human Services, bans thimerosal. I'll play a clip from him in a minute and get you to respond. But first, your thought about thimerosal and this banning of it.
Thimerosal is a toxin. It contains mercury. Mercury is a known neurotoxin, a brain toxin, should have never, ever been put in any human product. We've known that for a long time.
So why were they, Dr. Thorp? I mean, and I see they try to make the difference between, and I may get this wrong, correct me, ethyl mercury and methyl mercury. One's found in fish. It appears to be more toxic. The other, and I hope I don't have it backwards, found in these vaccines. They claim less toxic. And I've always said, Dr. Thorp, you don't have to be a doctor to tell you that any kind of mercury in your body is not going to be good. I didn't go to medical school, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out putting mercury in your body can't be good.
Both forms of mercury are toxic, ethyl or methyl, and there's a lot of controversy. Those that claim that the other's safe, the one is safe, might actually turn out to be more dangerous because there's less levels in the blood, but perhaps higher levels in the brain. Listen, nothing, no heavy metals. Also, aluminum adjuvant It's still in the vaccines, needs to be completely eliminated.
Do you think there's any plans for RFK Jr. to eliminate that? Again, I don't need to be a doctor. You're injecting yourself with aluminum? I mean, that's like what a soda can is made out of.
Absolutely. It's very dangerous. And, we're looking at levels as high as 250 micrograms in some of the vaccines that are still being pushed in children. This is an absolute abomination. Listen, the whole vaccination program has been the biggest lie and anti-science cover-up, I believe, in the history of medicine.
You know what's amazing is I think for the first time you have a majority of parents, it's gone over 50%, that are, quote, questioning the entire vaccination system for kids and the protocols. Over 50% of parents are now questioning this. I think parents know their kids and how to parent. Your thoughts?
Yes, you're right. In the JAMA, one of the most the most influential journals, one of the 4 most influential journals in the world, they just published this. Now, what their motive was is unclear. But yes, that maybe they're trying to scare people. But yes, as many as 50% of parents are having some vaccine hesitancy. That's a good thing. And you know what? Credit to you, Grant, and many other truthers, and credit to Dr. Peter McCullough and the Wellness Company, and many of those who came out, not just Dr. McCullough, but so many others, including Dr. Pierre Corey, Dr. Kirk Moore, who many others, including myself. We called it from the very beginning, and we are starting to get traction on the American people because of the Trump administration, because of Bobby, and because of people like you.
I think what was important, and not that I want to take any credit, and I really give all the credit to everybody else that you mentioned there, but I was never an anti-vaxxer. This wasn't my lane. I wasn't there. Just as Dr. Peter McCullough, he wasn't an anti-vax. That wasn't his lane. He's a world-renowned cardiologist. I don't think you, before all this started, were in that lane either. And I think that lends credibility to when we all start to speak out about this, and we weren't yelling and screaming about vaccines and autism, going back into the early 2000s. Now, all of a sudden, you're getting people from experts in their field. Obstetrics, is that how you say it?
OBGYN, maternal fetal medicine, and you're right.
Much better, Doc.
You're right. I mean, listen, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a military veteran. I've received more vaccines than most anybody else watching this program. And by the way, I push the vaccines not only in all my family and my children, but I even push vaccines in pregnancy up until 15 years ago, when my eyes were open to the fraudulent science, to this anti-science, this propaganda. And I became aware shortly after the turn of the century how corrupt our medical journals are. And, just to underscore that, Grant, just 9 months ago, in the JAMA, the same journal, there's a peer-reviewed manuscript, lead author Daniel David Nguyen, Nguyen, and colleagues, published on October 10th, 2024. And these authors documented that the reviewers of the top 4 medical journals in the world, New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA, the Lancet, and the British Medical Journal, the 4 top journals, in just 3 years, 2020, 2021, and 2022, just in the United States of America, the reviewers were paid $1.06 billion. $billion. These are reviewers. These were paid by pharmaceutical companies and manufacturers of of medical devices. This is not science. This is corrupt. This is propaganda. And, nobody now, including Grok or any AI, can quote any medical studies because they're all corrupted with disinformation and misinformation to push these lethal medications like vaccines. Just the COVID-19 vaccine, I believe, has killed and or injured 30 million Americans.
All right, with that to back you up, after I play RFK Jr. and get your thoughts on what he says about banning this Thimerosal, I'm going to play a clip of a CDC higher-up who was caught on a phone conversation basically admitting everything you just said and having from inside the CDC before RFK Jr. covering up for some of the connections to awful diseases and these vaccines. But first, let me play RFK Jr. And his announcement here.
I'm happy to report that last week we closed the final chapter in the long history of thimerosal in the United States. Thimerosal, of course, is a mercury-based vaccine preservative. Its main component, ethyl mercury, is a known and very potent neurotoxin. Until we withdrew the recommendation last week, flu shots containing thimerosal, astonishingly, were still being administered to millions of Americans, including pregnant women and children. Now, I've taken a lot of flack from the vaccine industry and from its allies in the press about my decision to ban it. So I want to talk a little bit about my reasons. In early 2001, the director of the FDA Office of Vaccine Research and Review, the late William Egan, admitted under oath before Congress that thimerosal's safety had never been studied in human beings. Further, CDC has no existing guidelines for safe exposures to ethyl mercury. It is therefore inexcusable that these agencies allowed neurotoxic mercury to be injected into Americans for so long. A quick search of the National Library of Medicine's PubMed and PubChem websites, and that's thousands of studies on search terms such as mercury neurotoxicity, mercury in development, and mercury in the brain. Hundreds of them identify thimerosal as a potent neurotoxin, a carcinogen, a mutagen, and an endocrine disruptor. Let's put all that peer-reviewed science aside and just look at what the government itself and the vaccine industry say about thimerosal. Thimerosal's own label advises against its use during pregnancy, pointing out that thimerosal has never been shown to be safe and that it causes mutations in mammals. Thimerosal's material safety data sheet acknowledges that thimerosal is toxic, that it has nervous system and reproductive effects, that it's mutagenic in mammalian cells, that exposure to mercury and thimerosal in utero and in children could cause mild to severe mental retardation and mild to severe motor coordination impairment.
So as he lays all that out, this is stunning to hear the director of Health and Human Services. Like every other director must have known this information, and still they allowed it to be pumped into our bodies.
Yes, and he's absolutely right. The science, the real science, is overwhelming. The fact that the FDA admits it and is lying about it and covering it up is astounding. And I'm so proud of Bobby, especially for bringing up the most vulnerable, who are my patients. My recently published book is Sacrifice, how the deadliest vaccines in history were pushed on the most vulnerable. Those are pregnant women, preborn children, and newborn children. And I'm so grateful that he brought that up, because we have no business using flu vaccines with thimerosal in pregnant women, preborn, and newborns, or for that matter, any other vaccine. No vaccine should ever be used in pregnancy. There are no studies that document safety in the long term. Zero, zilcho.
All right, you wanted to see something interesting, because this, to me, Doc, shows you just how deep the deep state goes. All right, this is from the CDC website today. So you got RFK Jr., who basically just said we're banning thimerosal. It's dangerous. And yet the CDC, as early, this was posted December of 2024, so not that long ago, thimerosal is a mercury-based preservative that's been used for decades in the United States. There's no evidence of harm caused by low doses of thimerosal in vaccines, blah, 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 blah. Doc, I'm going to ask you, how is that still on the CDC website when the basically leader of the CDC, he's the leader of Health and Human Services that falls under, says it's dangerous?
Yeah, it's still on the website because guess what? A huge majority of the people in the CDC, FDA, HHS are holdovers, and they won't agree with the science because they're holdovers from the fraudulent regimes in the past. The same thing with the CIA, the same thing with every other three-letter agency. You have to wipe the slate clean. You have to get these ignorant, fascist, non-science, misinformation spreaders. You need to get them the hell out of the FDA and the CDC. And you know, it's the same thing. He made these recommendations 6 days after my testimony in the United States Senate, just 6 or 8 weeks ago, with Dr. Peter McCullough. I focused on the damning evidence of the dangers of the COVID-19 vaccine in pregnancy. 6 days later, he and Jay Bhattacharya and Marty Makary recommended they not be used in pregnancy. But was it taken off their website? Did anybody employ that? No.
It's amazing. So to me, what this is, what you're looking at on your screen here, is the deep state at work. This is the deep state. That's literally right. In their own very quiet way, pushing back against their boss and reality in favor of big pharma and big money. And so that is literally the definition, in my opinion, of the deep state, Doc. I've got a clip of an investigation that was done. I'm going to play it. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and let you hear this CDC higher up who basically admits that there's all kinds of problems with these vaccines and feels badly about doing nothing about it. Take a listen to this, Dr. Thorp.
Roll back in the time machine to August of 2014. That is when Bill Thompson made the admission that the CDC had lied and hid the fact that the MMR vaccine was associated with autism. Talking with Thompson as it unfolded felt like a spy movie. It led me to secretly record phone conversations with Dr. William Thompson, which I did in the state of Oregon because it's illegal to secretly record phone conversations in the state of California. Dr. Thompson freely admitted that he had covered it up, and his associates at the CDC had also covered it up.
Thimerosal causes autism-like features, and that's the way I would say it. I'm completely ashamed of what I did. The higher-ups wanted to do certain things, and I went along with it. Colleen is a center director, Frank is the director of immunization safety, and Marceline the branch chief. They're still all much more senior than me.
Dr. Julie Gerberding was head of the CDC at the time. Coincidentally, she went on to a lucrative career at Merck, the manufacturer of the MMR vaccine.
I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe we did what we did. But we did.
You know what's amazing is he says coincidentally. There's no coincidence about it. She goes on to her lucrative career at Merck because they covered everything up. There's no coincidence there, Dr. Thorp.
Right. You know, narrating that is one of my heroes and all of our heroes, Dr. Brian Hooker, PhD, with Children's Health Defense Fund. And he's absolutely right. You know, if there's more than his capture of these really political operatives who are responsible for killing and maiming millions of global citizens. Children are most vulnerable. But you know, if you go to, and by the way, Dr. Brian Hooker is a friend and a colleague, and also a co-author with me on some papers. So I hold him in high esteem, and I can assure you what comes out of his mouth is truthful. But, one of the things he didn't mention, and you can go to the CHD website, and I'm surprised Bobby hasn't mentioned it, is the Simpson Wood scandal. The Simpson Wood scandal. Go to Children's Health Defense and look up the Simpson Wood scandal, which is a secretly recorded 2-day meeting in rural Georgia, off-site of the CDC, so that they couldn't ever be subpoenaed or the records couldn't ever be obtained, where a group of authors, pharmaceutical and researchers concluded that the evidence was damning, the vaccines caused autism. And that meeting was secretly recorded, and it is available on the CHD website.
All right.
I've listened to it. It's frightening.
And that's Simpson Wood scandal. Is that what it is?
Yes.
All right. So here's what I should do. I should look at it and maybe get you back. We'll talk about it. I'll play some clips one day. It'll make a good podcast to talk about that. Or maybe I get your friend on to talk about it as well. All of this. Let me play devil's advocate though here on one thing, because I was just thinking about this Thimerosal. All right. If in 2001, for the most part, they banned Thimerosal in vaccines, for the most part, in children's vaccines, we still saw the rates of autism increase. So as a total layman, I would say, well, then maybe it's not Thimerosal, and maybe I fall back on what Dr. McCullough and I have talked about is it's not individual agents in these vaccines as it is the sheer number of vaccines in a short amount of time that's doing the damage. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Dr. McCullough is absolutely right. As he points out, I've been practicing medicine now for 46 years, Grant. Right now, I'm in a major hospital in the Midwest providing high-risk obstetrical services in the office and in hospitalized patients. So I have a great deal of experience. And he's absolutely right. If somebody comes into my office, especially a pregnant woman or any patient, I never say, okay, we're going to load you up with these 8 drugs right now. We're going to inject them into you or even give them to you by mouth. That's absolutely unheard of. You don't ever do that in medicine for any injections, let alone oral medications. That's ridiculous, because whenever you do one or more treatments, the side effects catastrophically increase, oftentimes synergistically with the number of times you push. So it only makes rational common sense.
This gets me thinking. I play gin rummy at my golf club, and I play. Most of the guys playing gin rummy obviously are older. I wish more young people would come into that game, but it's a fun game. I enjoy it. And so I've got a lot of older friends. They're in their 70s, 80s, and even up into their 90s. And we play a penny a point. If you lose, $40 for the day, you got hurt real bad. So it's not too big a game. All that aside, some of them have so many medications. And they talk to me about all these medications. And every now and then someone will say, oh, well, I think I had a side effect of a medication, or I took it when I was. And I'm wondering, as I listen to all of these guys loaded up, and they each have different doctors, are the doctors talking to each other about what medications one is giving them compared to the other's giving them? Or are they all just prescribing what they think they should get? And the next thing you know, you got a medicine cabinet of 12 drugs in front of you that you're popping every day. I just think to myself, this cannot be good.
To your point, you're exactly right, Grant. What is the number 3 cause of death in the United States of America? What is it?
I don't know.
It's doctors. It's iatrogenic morbidity and mortality. That's the number 3 cause of death and injury in the United States of America. It's physicians and drugs and hospital errors.
If you go to the same hospital, so the hospital near me is Baylor Smith White, Baylor Hospital in Dallas. Dr. McCullough used to work there until they kicked him out. He was, I think, head of cardiology at that hospital. If you have all your doctors, if I've got my cardiologist and my urologist and, all these different doctors, are those medications in one file because it's one hospital and they can all look at it? Or does it get jumbled when you start going to different specialists at different hospitals and there's no way for anybody to communicate with your files?
The answer of that is both. If the patient is in one system under one EMR in multiple hospitals, all the providers and nurses will have access to it. But God forbid, no, if they're, in the city where I'm in right now that I don't want to disclose, there's several hospitals, but 2 large hospitals. The answer would be no. There's zero communication. I can't get a hold of those doctors. I have no idea what they're prescribing.
That seems like a problem. And then I know you get into privacy concerns, right? People say, oh, well, I don't want it into some kind of a public file that your medical people can. But if only there was some way to have your files portable with each patient. And it's literally just something you give to your doctor when you get there, and it gets loaded from each. I don't know how you would do it, but maybe we'd be on to something, because I know we got off on a tangent there, but something needs to be done on that front, Doctor.
Indeed, and it's a double-edged sword, and it's what the Trump administration right now, I think, is attempting to do, which I think has very dangerous, good and bad implications. And this is the whole resurgence of AI and putting this massive investment. That's one of the things, is health portability. Yeah. But listen, that can be used to your detriment. Every technology that's ever been introduced in humankind has been used mostly for evil, not for good.
Yeah. Short story. Yesterday, I was in Mexico on vacation. I had a lovely vacation with a very special lady friend, and we came back. We have global entry. Well, I've often said, why can't we take pictures and biometrics of illegal aliens and keep track of them? If you can do global entry pretty darn quickly, why can't we do the same thing? Well, we come back. Technology has got even crazier that I didn't even need to scan my passport. I walk up to the global entry machine. It takes a picture of my face. And I walk through, and the customs guy says, Grant, come on through. Ryan, who's my girlfriend, come on through. And we didn't even show any papers. Now, she said to me, she goes, I don't know how I feel about them having all this information that just my face pops up. And so there are things to weigh on this front, but technology is there. It can be used for good, and it can be used for evil. And how we balance that, I think, in the end is going to come down to what we say we allow the government to take. To me, it's worth the government having my picture so I can go through customs and not have to wait on the line for 4 hours. But I'm not doing anything wrong in the world either. Let me make a real quick point, Doc, because I want to talk to you about this Franken meat, okay?
Oh.
And the wellness company has Wellness Farms, which is absolutely fabulous. I got my first shipment of Wellness Farms beef, and I will tell you something. It is fabulous. So here's what I want people to do. Go to the twc.health/Grant. Click on Wellness Farms. And look, I mean, you can buy like an eighth of a cow, I think a half a cow. I mean, you can really load up, or you can do what I did and just get meats to use as you need them. But unvaccinated beef, grass-fed beef, so you don't get, folks, something like this.
Already, but I'll use my hand. Look, check this out, bro. See that shit there? That's glue, bro.
That steak, folks, is glued together. You are not going to get that at the wellness company. twc.health/Grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off of Wellness Farms. This is absolutely disgusting.
See? And this, basically, when you cut it, like this one, see, I just pull it a little bit, and it all just, certain parts just come out like it's sections, you see. That's a solid piece of meat. But near here, there's little bits. This might be a solid piece, but they've glued it here. So check.
So, again, gross. If you don't want that, and I wouldn't want to serve that to my family, but you wouldn't know half the time if you're just buying the meat typically out of the meat freezer, not going directly to the butcher. But who knows if you go directly to the butcher? Go to Wellness Farms, twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT, and don't forget about their emergency medical kits, prescription medications in here, including ivermectin. They've got a whole slew of different kits for different needs. This is the basic one. I would urge you to start with this so you have it on hand. You need a prescription medication, amoxicillin, a Z-Pack. You can pop it right there, speed of delivery. That's the best way to go. But Dr. Thorp, I want to ask you, did you know about this Franken meat before your association with the wellness company and Wellness Farms? That's who tipped me off to it. This is disgusting.
It's awful. And, I've seen those videos, and allegedly, and I'll emphasize allegedly, the premier grocery store in Florida, which I will mention their name because this is allegedly, I can't verify this, Publix, Publix.
Yeah.
I've seen a YouTube video. This is a premier grocery store, Publix, and allegedly the creator of this YouTube video bought this meat from Publix. Yeah. Exactly the same display. So, I don't think there's anybody in the world that's ordered more from the wellness company than my wife and I, Maggie. We're on our fourth order, today. And I pay full price for it. I'm happy to, because I believe in it so much. It's the best meat that Maggie and I have ever tasted.
Wow.
And, I've given it to my children. I've given it to gifts. It's a great gift. And listen, it's hormone free. It's antibiotic free. It's vaccine free. It's grain free. These are grass fed cows. And so I am buying it left and right and happy to do so, especially for my children, to have them eat this meat. It's incredible, and it's worth it. It comes in a refrigerated dry ice container. All you do is put it in your refrigerator. It's so incredibly the best tasting meat ever that I've tasted.
Well, I can back you up on that as well. And I'm a meat eater, so I live in Dallas. We know our steaks in Dallas. Dallas is known for a few things, steakhouses being one of them. This I put up there with the top steakhouses in Dallas, bar none. You mentioned that video. I'm going to show it just to gross people out, to literally prove why you need this grass-fed beef at Wellness Farms that is not processed apparently like this with meat glue. Franken meat.
So I just got this steak from Publix, and look at it.
Oh God.
That's like I don't know what that is.
I don't even know if I can look at it. It's going to make me throw up, quite frankly. It's disgusting.
He said Publix, right?
He did. He said,
Publix.
Here, I'll torture myself on this, but it's not good.
It's literally.
And then he shows a picture of it, and then he shows the receipt from Publix here as well. So, look, anything can be staged. We don't know if it's real or not. Publix is more than welcome to come on, and I'll happy to give their comment. But this is disgusting. Just the look of that meat is gross. The other one glued together. I don't even know who comes up with these ideas, gluing meat together.
Well, that would be Bill Gates and George Soros, the World Economic Forum, and the rest of the global elitist Satanists.
Well, they want us eating bugs. So I guess if they can't have us eating bugs, they'll have us eating crazy glue. It's absolutely disgusting. Not at the Wellness Farms. That's not what you're going to get. twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT. Dr. Thorp, it's always great having you on the program. All your work is fascinating. Where can people find you? Best address.
Yes. My personal website is Dr. as in DrJathorp.com. Also, my book, sacrifice2024.com, of which all the proceeds are going to the Wellness Company Initiative Fund, and matched by them to serve the vaccine injured. Also, my X account, Twitter, JATHORPMFM, Mother Foxtrot Mother.
Awesome. Well, I urge everyone to follow you, get your books, a wealth of information, needless to say. And again, I think you're a true hero in this fight for real news and real truth. Dr. Thorp, thank you for coming on, as always.
Thanks for having me, Grant.
Absolutely. And again, folks, I'm going to give you the address of the wellness company, twc.health/Grant. Use that promo code Grant and check out Wellness Farms. I promise you're not going to be disappointed with that, plus all the other supplements and great things they have. It's worth a perusing of the website for sure. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget my website, GrantStinchfield.com, Stinchfield1776. Please, if you like what you saw here, like the video, share the video, copy, paste it, put it in and tweet it out, all right? And post it on X, whatever you call it now. But do it, because this is how we spread the word. We will see you on the Real America's Voice show tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I look forward to that. Stinchfield's Army rolls. Thanks to all of you. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.